Internet, hello, what is up? We're back. Murasaki's the name. Murasaki also happens to be the game. Continuing on with level 3, level 4. With our strange game, if you're clicking on the, I've said this before, I'm sure. If you're clicking onto this and going, wait a goddamn second, this is downright stupid, you may want to check out the first video where I explain it. I'd hate to explain it a second time, as we're taking on damage right there. But you can certainly tell now, the shit is serious. Particularly level 4. Which we have, of course, we haven't quite got there yet, it being level 3. That's how numbers work. But yeah, level 4 was a humdinger. We'll get to that. I'll show you. But level 3, not without its challenges as well. Mini boss here of some variety. Looks like it's a bouncing red orb of some sort. Usually they're like, you know what, musical instruments, but it looks like this guy's just a elemental character of some variety. However, when we kind of accumulate enough bombs, you know, it works out. However, we do need to watch out our health not doing splendid. Actually, it is a musical instrument, isn't it? You can barely see it, but when it gets dark, you can kind of see an outline of like a violin or some other sort of string instrument. Oh, he is. You fool, you have activated my trap card. Just waiting for him to do that sort of rain attack, just so we can hit the big cluster. This is a rather interesting sequence here, with these sort of koi fish that you cannot destroy, but you just have to sort of mitigate the damage and sort of clear out their bullets as they make them, as they kind of swim by. You know, a lot of these other enemies, like you see here, you can kind of take care of before they get too nasty. Kind of shoot them down. Oh Jesus! Oh Jesus! The spirals. The spirals. Using a bomb there just so we can get that extra health. Probably not the slickest move in the book, but as you can see, it's getting a little hectic, a little too crazy. Some more health right there. If we can manage to get through, which we can, you know, with those white bullets, it just takes one shot to kind of get through them. So you sort of forge your own path with that. Pretty lucky there to be wiping out some enemies before it gets too nasty. Although here they come, as I speak, right? A bomb pickup if we can manage it, which I bet we will. Yeah, there we are. So here we are with the boss. Got 4 bombs, which we should certainly make better use of. However, our life, not particularly where we want it, that's for sure. And that certainly doesn't help, running into items that are just hanging around as well. First form, not so bad. But those aren't the ones we're going to be worried about anyway. It's those like sort of blood-stained, sort of ink, you know, ink splotches that have us most concerned. Getting some good damage in with those shots as well. Almost finished him off here. There we go. They're really toying with our life there. which is really turning into be like more of a Russian roulette right here of just what's going to break. You know, whether it's our final bits of hit points, or somehow going to deal a bunch of damage to him. So picking up that ink splotch, that sort of certainly adds up the challenging rating, but it does unlock things in your sort of collection menu. So I say we need to really be careful. We are not sitting at all of one hit maybe, just a little bit of yellow there in our health. Do have another bomb, which is exactly what we used just at the very last possible time. I mean, luckily he's not very healthy himself, and we have a sort of attack here with this sort of cloud that kind of lingers around. Yeah. Luckily, pretty easy there. And we're hoping for a repeat here. No mistakes, no whammies, big bucks. Big bucks, no whammies. You know, as much as I'd like to get the combos, you know, maybe at this sort of juncture where we're not necessarily picky for damage, you know, maybe hey, done is done. Certainly by the skin of our teeth, there for a long time. And of course, not really the best we've ever done. That's of no surprise. But yeah, at least we got it done, right? At least we made it through. Yeah, certainly took on a lot of damage late in that. Well, no, actually, more or less like early on in that level. And then just happened to, like, you know, pull it together to some degree later on. Level 4, which certainly by far has been where I spent the most time in the game. One thing to note about this game is that, you know, there's a lot of secrets that aren't necessarily explained or told to you directly in the game, and I think that's not just a sort of novel, cool approach of, like, you know, add some replayability with adding some secrets, but it also, you know, you can find your own challenge in the game. You know, there's certain things you can do to make the bosses harder, or you find, you know, certain you can proc certain things to get certain endings, that are all, you know, extra bits of challenge and difficulty that you can kind of add for yourself. Otherwise, you can just kind of go the easy route. You know, just kind of playing the game as you would, you know, off the face of it. You know, oh God, taking damage. And what I mean by all that sort of pointless ramble is that there's a point in this level where it starts to, what I feel, starts to begin sort of like, okay, I can beat the level, but how do I really beat the level? And I'll show you what I mean when I get to it, when we get to it together. See, the 4th level and the 5th level have a certain, like, technique to them. You know, a sort of certain, not necessarily strategy, but a certain way of completing the level that really, like, almost like true ending of the level. I'll show you we'll get to it. We're not too far. But that's what I mean by, you know, you can kind of pick your own difficulty. As in, like, you know, if you're not up for the extra challenge, you don't necessarily, you know, you don't have to. You can beat the game, beat the level. just the way you want. You know. And as far as the world's concerned, it's still beaten. Your collection won't be as complete as as it would otherwise be, but I myself had to kind of pull back on sort of the completionist, mentality as well. So we're getting crowded, but not a lot of bombs. Maybe by design as well, but not really great on health as well. Although, as I speak, a little bit of a HP up. It's getting really crowded. So holding out as much as I can. So waiting for these big orbs here to kind of take them out as quick as we can, just so when they don't burst, they don't, fill half the screen with bullets. However, maybe we should have hit the orange ones all the same there. A small misplay, but I think it happened. No harm, no foul, really. All right, so here's what I was talking about before. We have this sort of cocoon with the boss that's really just going to, sort of blankly attack you. And that's fine. You could beat this level by just attacking that center cocoon. However, to really, really, for reals, get into it, you want to take out these sort of locks, these sort of bindings, or binders rather. And there we go. We certainly could have sat in the middle and then just hit the cocoon and killed it and be on our merry way. But we would have never seen this otherwise, so pissed off Moth Girl. And when I said I spent the most time on this level compared to other levels in this game, it was this boss fight. Primarily, there was one of her like sort of EX modes, or when she spits this out. I unfortunately had to sort of resign to the fact that I couldn't beat her when I would pick this up. We were doing this for all the bosses, and it was working well, but I'm gonna have to take the coward's way out with this one. I spent way too long, and I just couldn't do it. So I thought, hey, let's. We got this far at least. Let's at least do as, completed the best we could, the best we can, at least at this time. So her bullets are sort of splintering off the larger ones, and our available, bombs are just not sufficient enough to kind of clear off as much as we'd like. But we are doing, we are kind of sitting right below her, hitting her when we can. And it does add damage. I mean, her life gauge is pretty low now, at least almost on par with that, or with my own here. However, that attack is pretty nasty. That sort of just constant barrage. Luckily, kind of stumbled our way through it all the same. So as long as we have the bombs, perfectly okay with this pattern. Just, a stagnant amount of bullets. That is perfectly fine. Provided they don't just sort of burst on us. There we go. Excelente. So you can even see, like, even when we didn't pick up that sort of paint splatter, we still barely beat this version of her. So kind of have to pick and choose our battles with that. Alright guys, that's going to be it for level 3 and 4. But yeah, that's going to be it for this video. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a like, leave a comment, do all that stuff. We'll come back and play some more Murasaki in the future.